So what's next for Chef Cloud? Well, I wanted to evaluate my project, although I didn't include all of the key features that I had outlined. I still feel that because this is a fully operating prototype, that it's definitely a qualified success. Some of the features that I wanted to build were a bit more complicated than I'd originally given them credit for. I've put workarounds in place, notably the search function. So it really does give a lot of control to the user. And I think that's important that being dynamic like that you can understand where things are maybe not going exactly as you'd planned and finding a key workaround to it. Um, this was probably one of the greatest learnings that I had of the entire time in the project, because there was things like during the analysis and the design stage, um, we were in the process of completing our design whenever the deadlines for the the midterm presentation came in, and they were actually before the design stage was completed. So it meant that we had to have some working code before the actual design had been completed, which went against a lot of the layout of software development and of the life cycle. Um, but again, like that's going to be common practice with whenever you're working on projects, that whoever is the sponsor might not have the same time, it might not have the same commitment to following things by the to the T the same way that you would like to. So you have to be dynamic, you have to be agile, you have to be able to produce working prototypes quite quickly on, just to make sure that you have everybody on side, that you can see where the issues are. So finding workarounds like that, like working arounds, it just really became a key part of it. The user acceptance testing really was extremely positive. Everybody was quite keen to start using the application. Or just only thing is now is to add more recipes. So I think that'll definitely be one of the key goals now that I've got documentation finally down. It'll free out some time. So yeah, looking at next steps here for Chef Crowd going into full year 19. Um, Going to be moving to a continuous integration cycle. So rather than having predefined builds, it's going to be continuous integration, sort of similar to what Netflix does with their DevOps, where things will be instantly being built, implemented, and put into place. We're also going to have more recipes coming in, yeah, which we've already touched on. Oh, sorry, that recipe feature is for the filtering your recipes based on the ingredients. So that was a function that I wanted to create. The code is there, the SQL code. It's actually in the document that I have been looking at recently. For build. Sorry, just 2 seconds here. Yeah, so yeah, from using the SQL select recipe ID, so you can see there that this would allow the recipes to be filtered by the ingredients via the recipe ingredients um secondary table. And yeah, the only reason that didn't go in was because I ran out of time to implement it. So I had to make a decision um, based on my what was available to me at the time and what I was going to be judged on. That I had to concentrate on the documentation to make sure that I had that completed in time for the presentation. So that's why I've just sort of left that to now that I've got myself a bit more space to work on it. And yeah, that'll be one of the key things that I'll be working on for the next couple of months. After that, once we have that fully functioning, I'll be moving into the social media launch. So do we start promoting it on Facebook, start promoting it on Twitter, LinkedIn, likes of that, just to build the amount of users that we have. And then at that stage, we'll be looking to bring in the API deployment. So the API would then be to allow the connection to supermarkets, so that you could have the likes of Tesco's or Asda coming in and sponsoring. They would be paying for the traffic you'd be able to send them. So you would create your shopping and then on the application, and then with the API, all you need to do then is have the to have instead of you'll be able to pay for your shopping there through the application, and it would just be linked to whoever's your preferred shopping provider, and they would then pay some of the they would pay their customer acquisition cost to myself rather than to any outside vendor, and that would be the business model. And the whole way through this, I will be over the next couple of months. I'll be deploying the application with friends and colleagues from work just to keep on uh, increasing that user base and to ensure that I've got that continual feedback loop. So it'll be the key goals going forward. So yeah, thanks very much for listening. Um, and if you have any questions, you can send them on to the email address at the front. Thanks very much. Bye.